Hi, everyone. Welcome to Glam Chats. We have one of my really good friends, Landon, on today. He is an entrepreneur. He owns a company called Air In, and we're just going to talk to him about some of his skills in automation. He's really amazing at working smarter, not harder. And then also about entrepreneurship and not just the good, but some of the challenges we all face in it. And then also he's got a foundation, a charity organization. I want to talk a little bit about. So, hi, Landon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Bex?
I'm good. Thanks for being here. So to start, Landon, just tell us a little bit about you and your background, and then a little bit about Aaron.
Sure. So went to college, got my degree, decided I didn't want to normal jobs, hit the road as a musician, did some touring, singer-songwriter stuff across the country. Decided I was going to get married and couldn't be on the road, so got into real estate with our first agent, real estate agent. And then I ended up doing that for a long time, over a decade. And in real estate, kind of got into investing
Mhm.
with rentals, fiction flip development, things like that, new construction, and started buying my own properties. And one thing led to another, and ended up starting this company for basically automate and maximize revenue for short term rentals. And then with the higher purpose of giving back to the community with our foundation. So
I love that. And Landon and I are both in Georgetown. We live like walking distance from each other's houses, but it's funny how we met because I was looking for like a short-term rental after I sold my house while I was waiting for my new house that I was building. And I just happened to reach out to Landon about one of his rentals, and the rental was not for me, but we started chatting and, like, talking about entrepreneur stuff, and I got really interested in his company, and, my life was a little bit different at the time, and then come to find out, I really financially shouldn't be building the house I was building, so I backed out of that, and then Landon helped me essentially find my house that I live in downtown Georgetown. So, yeah, kind of a funny way to meet people, and now we, like, hang out once a month or more and, like, talk about our work and stuff, so it's nice to have people on your side, like, people you can reach out to that are going through the same things, so, yeah, that's how we connected, but so, as an entrepreneur, Landon, why do you find being an entrepreneur and being in the industry so rewarding? And what really motivated you to work for yourself and not somebody else?
freedom.
Mhm.
Uh, that's probably the number one is just freedom. And,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think that there's nothing about being an entrepreneur, self-employed, anything like that that's easy. But I would rather, I don't need somebody or want somebody to tell me to get out of bed and work. Like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to work harder
Mhm.
than anybody to tell me to work. And I like the creativity, being able to do things differently, that, my personality. And I love watching other businesses and entrepreneurs, build their business that fits their personality and what they love to do and how they want it to look. So yeah, it's just, I think it's just awesome to live in a country where you can have an idea
Yeah.
and then go out there and do it. This is a weird plug. I love getting in Ubers.
Mhm.
Like, I love calling an Uber and then having a conversation with a driver. I just met a guy from India, from Nepal
Mm.
this last week, and like he's working on starting a business. He's driving Uber, and I asked him, I was like, "What would you come to the States?" And he goes immediately just goes opportunity,
Yeah.
and I love just what this country offers people like that, people like me, people like you, right?
Mhm.
Who have an idea, want to go start something, do
Mhm.
something, create something. It's just it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know for me and probably a little bit for you too, like without a lot of backing or money or like it wasn't like I just had unlimited amounts of money and like, oh, I'm going to start something because I'm bored. It was like, okay, I'm gonna give up everything and make this happen, and it works, and that's really cool. So I appreciate that answer, that we do have the opportunity and that we do live somewhere where it is an option, so awesome. So, How do you approach a challenging situation as an entrepreneur in your business? Or you can even give us an example of like an obstacle you've been through and like how your brain processes it and how you work through it and any advice you could give to someone else who's experiencing challenges right now.
So I think it's almost like it's kind of like picking the challenges that, because you're going to have challenges like from every angle,
Mhm,
right? And I think it's picking the ones that you hate the most,
mhm.
right? And then either automating or delegating
Yep.
to solve those. So, like, as an example, like, I hate accounting. I
Mhm.
hate accounting. Like, I joke, we both went to Texas Tech, right? But
Yeah.
I had 2 Ds in college. One was in algebra, and the second one was when I retook algebra. And,
Me too.
and so,
Same. Exactly.
like, somebody goes like, "Hey," they're asking about numbers or whatever. It's like, I cringe. And so
Mhm.
it's gotta have, like, in fact, today I'm meeting with professional CFO,
Mhm.
bookkeeping company. So it's really kind of like picking the challenges
Yeah.
and then knowing that, like, hey, the ones that, so I've got those kind of delegated or automated, and the ones that I know I'm gonna face, like, it's like, because I enjoy challenges.
Yeah.
I just enjoy certain ones. So, like, I want the challenges, they're gonna come where it's like, "Huh, I'm not sure, like, we gotta figure that one out." Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy that. And so, I think that's been my approach. But one of our values at our company is using technology to be more human.
Mm.
And so anybody that works with us, and I say with very, very intentionally and not for, but with us, I want them doing things that only humans can do, and
Right.
focus their energy on things, whether it's experience for guests or for owners or vendors, whoever it
Mhm.
is. I want if it can be automated, technology can do it.
Yeah.
Like, let's do that. So I don't know if that's helpful.
No, absolutely, and you and I have both I think did I tell you I got a VA? I told you I got a VA. Did I?
Yeah.
We Landon and I both have been using virtual assistants to kind of I kind of think of it somewhere between automating and having, like, an actual employee that I'm have in my office with me, like, it's somebody who can do some of those tasks for us, and, I mean, it's gone really well for me. You're having a good experience with your VA. I mean, it's always it's a little different dealing with someone that you only talk to via email or, FaceTime, but I think stylists don't you think that that could really be something that a stylist could use for, like, scheduling appointments or, working on spreadsheets or even some, like, light bookkeeping, right? I've kind of been pushing that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that and it varies, business to business. And I think that, so short answer is absolutely. Yeah, like my VA, she's amazing. She's in the Philippines,
Mhm,
and I love that she has this opportunity now. She's like, I love getting on FaceTime calls with her,
mhm.
and like, it's not, well, I have somebody over in the Philippines. It's like, no, this is a human.
Yeah.
She's
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
and it's a relationship, like, I enjoy
Yeah.
I know my VA is about to have a baby, and she's I'm getting to know her personally. It's actually it's more, connection than you expect it to be when you sign on. Would you
I
agree with that?
I do, and I mean, you can kind of make it that way or choose
Uh-huh.
to make it that way. But I think that using them and their help and their skill sets, uh, for your company, for say something like scheduling, it's interesting because you kind of have to look at, and I always look at the end user, so, as an example, like scheduling an appointment for, say, an owner, right?
Mhm.
That maybe we're going to meet with, that's potentially going to sign up with us. Like, I want that scheduling to feel really good. I want to feel personable,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And so there's certain things that you can automate or delegate that maybe don't need to be that way because of
Sure.
the end user, right? And there's other instances, like, say, a guest, their expectation is not, hey, I'm going to get this warm welcome, thing.
Right.
They're expecting some type of like email or whatever. And so I think really being very, very intentional about,
Yeah.
like, how is that going to feel to the end
Mhm.
user, and like what are we trying to convey from an experience standpoint, uh, using some
Mhm.
for something like scheduling, right? Because it's like one of those things, you and I joked about this too. I love I use Calendly a lot,
Mhm.
but I use it very intentionally. And there's other sometimes where I was like, I won't do that. I won't use
Right.
it because I'm like, that's going to feel kind of cold
Yeah.
to that person, right?
Just to schedule the appointment, you'd rather have that one-on-one interaction and yeah.
Exactly. And so, and even when I do use it, I'll say things like, if it was you and I didn't know you or whatever, I would say, hey Bex, shoot over some times that work for you, and I'll take a look at my calendar when I'm not driving or when
Mhm.
I'm back at the office. But if it's more convenient, you can pick a time on my calendar,
Yeah.
whatever's easiest, right? And so just really being focused on what that end user experience is crucial. But
Yeah.
yes, you can follow to honest.
Yeah, well, and I also feel like you're, this is why I like how you do it so much is you automate things that I mean, truthfully, they're important things, but they're the technology end and they don't really matter. Nobody the guest isn't seeing it. It's like we're seeing it, but the guest doesn't see it. But I love your focus on customer service, how it's gonna feel when the customer's in, like, essentially, if anybody's not fully grasping what Landon does, because it took me a second. I mean, it's can I compare you to Airbnb? I
Absolutely.
mean, like, it's like Airbnb or but it's just a more custom experience to guests. So he basically manages properties for people and his own properties that he puts on like Airbnb, but that's a very simplified version of what he's doing. But if you've ever stayed in an Airbnb, this is the Airbnb that has like everything perfect and everyone you stay in that belongs to Landon is going to be consistent and there's going to be a note card with suggestions of where you can visit around Georgetown. There's going to be a text from him recommending a local restaurant. So if you've ever had that experience in an Airbnb, you know how special it is as opposed to you're pulling up in the driveway and the owner hasn't even texted you the code to get in yet and you're like texting them and like, "Hi, I don't know how to open the door." So it's just that comfortable user experience that Landon and his team provides. So it's very similar in the salon in that way that as we're all entrepreneurs and I always tell my stylist curtain up, curtain down, like the experience happens as soon as they park in the parking lot. So it's our responsibility to make sure that they have something unique about the experience because even if they love their hair, if they don't love the salon, if they don't love even the conversation or if they feel uncomfortable, they might not come back. So just that user experience is crucial. And I think Landon's just like that's really his unique ability is really creating experiences for people. And I mean, I really think Landon, a lot of that comes out of kindness for you, which is an easy transition into your nonprofit. Tell us a little bit about your nonprofit.
Yeah. So when it comes down to business, personal, my core values, faith, family, freedom, my personal ones. And then, but when it comes to business, it's really, is it fun? Is it making money? And is it serving a higher purpose? And if it doesn't check all those boxes, I'm really not interested. So basically, I think it was about 10, 12 years ago, something like that. I did this work with a guy to kind of help me figure out what, purpose was and vision, all these things. And really wanted to take what I'd done in real estate and be able to share that with call local heroes, police officers,
Mhm.
firefighters, pastors, teachers, people like that. And extended that now to say, battered women, basically be
Mhm.
able to give back to them. And so we've been doing that. We had been and still are doing that with our own personal properties. But when we
Mhm.
started a company, we want to be able to do it on a bigger scale. And
Mhm.
fortunately, challenges, right? It's like, well, if we're trying to maximize our owner dollars, make our owners the most money, I can't also ask them to donate rooms, right? Like donate
Mhm.
nights for people to stay. It's after some conversations with attorneys and CPAs, stuff like that. Like, okay, well, we got to do a nonprofit. And
Mhm.
so nonprofit essentially will nominate somebody, and then the nonprofit takes donations and then basically pays full price for those people to go stay at one of the properties they're signed up.
Yeah. Which is so great because you think about I mean, one, it's our police officers, our firemen, our teachers, they get to have, like, a vacation with their family in one of these cool Airbnb properties that Aaron provides, but on a bigger level, like, you and I had talked about this, like, it also can provide a safe space for someone who's experiencing domestic violence at home, and I do a lot of work with domestic violence charities, and what I've learned is there's nowhere for them to go. So it's a very common thought that you can just reach out to a shelter if you're in a bad situation, but those shelters have wait lists of hundreds of people. So there's no safe spaces. So what Aaron can provide is, we need to get somebody housed tonight with their family. Do you have a house available? And if there's something available with the money that you guys have donated, you can rent a week in a house while someone gets back on their feet. And that's an amazing gift to someone who's in an unsafe situation. Because I know just from my work with domestic violence victims, a lot of times, if they don't get out during that scary moment and things kind of go a little bit back to normal, they stay. And that's whenever we hear about really tragic events happening where the violence escalates and, I mean, even deaths. So just taking that opportunity to give somebody a safe space is amazing. So I'm really proud that you guys are doing that.
Yeah,
And it's also rewarding, right? Like, I mean, it
100%.
feels good, right?
Well, yeah, of course it does. It was crazy. Didn't even realize that was a thing, but then there was a woman staying in one of our properties,
Mhm.
and somehow the communication got there. Like, she said that she was staying there, and it, like, hit me. It's like, man, there's not you don't have to sign up for internet,
Mhm.
utilities, you
No.
don't do any of this stuff. So it's like an amazing place for
Well, and
someone.
it's also very anonymous. I mean, if
I,
you go stay in an Airbnb, if somebody, I mean, it's a scary thought, but if you have somebody looking for you, they really can't find you. I mean, they might can see that you're staying somewhere, but they can't see where or so it really is truly a safe space and it feels like home. So,
It does,
yeah.
and we helped this one woman get a PO
Mhm.
box, she get her
Oh,
mail, she
fun.
didn't know. She was like, "How do I get a PO box?" I thought that was just for businesses. I'm like, "No, it's."
No, we
And
can help you.
yeah, go
Yeah.
right down. Yeah, so it's really cool for some of those, again, the higher purpose
Yeah. Yeah.
why.
And for those of you who didn't catch this part of it, which is really what's super cool about it is for the owners of the properties, they're still getting paid for the nights that somebody's staying there. So they're not giving these rooms or these houses away for free. The charitable donations are paying for the nights. So, you know, it's amazing because people who want to donate money have the money to donate. It's a tax deduction, can donate their money. And then these owners actually can still make money off of that. So it's really a genius system.
Everybody wins.
Yeah, everybody wins. So let's see. Why do you think, or I mean, even so, as like a hairstylist, because we're mainly talking to hairstylists or people in the beauty industry or even entrepreneurs. Um, how did you find a charity you connected with, or how did you? I mean, you created this, but like, what do you recommend to someone if they're like, okay, I want to start giving back. I don't necessarily have a ton of money to give back with, so I can't just donate somewhere. Like, how did you decide on this opportunity or how did you figure out how to do this? I mean, what could you offer to someone who wants to start this process?
I think it goes back to the why. I mean, no
Mhm,
different, you know, what challenges do you wanna take on and which ones do you wanna delegate or automate, right?
mhm,
For me, it goes like, it's faith, family, freedom, right? And
mhm.
so, like, the freedom to be able to go travel, right?
Yeah,
And watching everybody that's been given a stay or donated so far is going with their family, right,
yeah,
to one of these places. But I have a huge, huge soft spot for kids. So, like, I
mhm,
donate automatic donations
yeah,
to Passion International.
yeah,
The kids need water, backpacks, stuff like that. We take time, write letters to them with my daughters, write back and forth to them. And that's a really good one that I like. That kind of hits that kids are just amazing. And so
yeah,
so there's that one, and then the others, I'm kind of like, I joke, I'm the only conservative tree hugger that I know. So I love trees. So the Arbor
yeah,
Foundation donate.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean, it
uh,
really just goes back to your core values, like,
yeah,
just really looking at what your core values are, and, what I'm finding is I do donate money, and I think that's important, but really, I feel like I'm sacrificing a little more or really giving back whenever I donate my time. So, it's so many organizations depending on what really moves you just to go. I mean, I have a friend that lost a friend to cancer and she goes and donates blood, on a monthly basis because that's what her friend needed while she was going through that. Or, I mean, it could really be anything, but just giving up a little bit of time, even doing office work. I tell my girls going to a women's shelter and doing haircuts or makeovers for women who are about to go to interviews. I mean, how huge is that? So there's so many opportunities out there. And I really think I've always felt like when I'm giving, it always comes back to you. Like there is, and that's not why we do it, but and it might just be that my heart's open to receive. But whenever I give to others, I just see all these opportunities open up in my own life. So what a
Sure.
thing to be
Totally.
doing. Yeah. So I love that you're doing that. Um. Okay. So lastly, what advice would you give to someone who and, let's just speak to people who are, like, in a corporate America job or a commission stylist who wants to start their own business, who wants to become an entrepreneur, but they're scared?
I think it's one of those things like if you're scared, like make sure you're scared for the right reasons, and I think you and I have talked about this when you were, should I buy this house? Like, rent,
Yeah.
like, I'm scared of it. Make sure you're scared for the right reasons and ask somebody that you trust who's actually doing it. Ask for their advice.
Mm.
Ask them to consult with you, right? But be scared for the right reasons. And that way you actually know what you're trying to address. And so because it's gonna be hard. It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be
scary.
uncomfortable. Yeah, it just is.
But I think there's some peace in that discomfort. And I think one of the scariest places to be, in my opinion, is comfortable.
Mhm.
Because there's no such thing like that I'm aware of called it's not growing pleasures, right? It's growing
Right,
pain. And
right.
so whenever you're uncomfortable, that's usually when you're growing.
Sure.
And I think, as things, it's always going to be hard. It's always going to be challenges, but you start developing as you grow and you take that step, you start developing more tools to solve those problems.
Right.
So it actually feels like it's easier,
Mhm.
but there's so much emphasis placed on being comfortable over being free.
Mm.
And I remember telling my wife, because my wife's an entrepreneur now,
Mhm.
started her own company. And I said, I'd be way more, I'd be, I mean, it's terrifying to think of somebody giving me a paycheck
Right.
because what if, what if they decide, what if their company, what they're doing doesn't work and now all of a
Right.
sudden fired and like I have to go look for another job. Uh, and it's also like there's a ceiling, right?
Mhm.
There's
Oh,
a
for
ceiling,
sure.
right? And so I don't like ceilings.
No.
And so I
Yeah.
think that to me is more scary than not having the freedom to go try something, to go do it the way that I want to go do it, the way that I think the market wants to receive
Right.
it. And so, I think that when you get out there and I love watching my wife
Mhm.
and you hearing your story, getting to
Thank
you and
you.
watching what you've done. And you've had some crazy challenges, like some
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah,
crazy
I've been through some
challenges.
stuff.
But when you get through those,
Mhm.
kind of come out the other side and it's like, okay, I went through that. Now I know how to deal with that. Now I know how I'm going
Yeah.
to, and I think that as you take that step, if you can always be asking the question like, could this have been solved preemptively?
Mhm.
And usually it could have, but
Right.
without that experience, without that knowledge and experience, you're not going to know how to get through it the next time, right?
Right.
Well, it's been really cool watching you. It's been cool watching my wife in your business, her business, progressing and growing. And it's so take the
Yeah.
leap if you want to, but decide. And I think the number one would be make sure you love it.
Yeah.
If you love it, you're going to be able to get through it. You
Right.
know, remember I did an interview. This was like in 2010 or 11 or something like that, and somebody asked me like it was when I was a musician touring and stuff, and they said, "What would your advice be?" Like, or whatever. I said, "And you gotta love it because it's
Yeah.
hard."
2 things that you touched on, that I really agree with. 1, we trust I think it's so even when I was working for other people, I don't know why I had so much trust in these companies to spend money the right way and to always give me a paycheck. I mean, how did I know that my paycheck was gonna come or that I wasn't facing a layoff a week later? Like, I would rather trust myself to pay me or to know that I'm not getting paid, whatever that looks like, than trust somebody else to make all the decisions and, that they're not gonna make mistakes. So, when people are saying I'm scared, I'm always like, I'd be scared to work for someone else, honestly. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for like 9 years now, and I always say I'm unemployable. Like, I couldn't go be an employee somewhere. I don't even think, like, they wouldn't want me. Like, I would get in an interview and I'd probably be argumentative. I don't know. I could not go be an employee for someone right now, but I don't I have more trust in me and my abilities and my passions and my ability to make anything happen. So I just feel like it's actually safer than working for someone else, especially when we're talking about hair salons. We're not even talking about big corporate locations. We're talking about somebody who's opened a salon, and I'm not saying that they're not capable, but, if they can do it, you can do it, right? And then the second thing is, you talked about kind of that challenges, how they're really hard at first and it gets easier, and I always compare it to, like, weight training or working a muscle. Like, the more uncomfortable you are, the more you face challenges, the more you succeed, the more you build that muscle, and so when those challenges pop up, they're not as scary. Like, for example, I got a call on Friday and it was essentially, "Hey, I'm with a client, but can you call the fire department? Barton Hills is on fire." One of our salons, and I'm like, "Sure, but let me call the, fire department, no problem." But, like, early on in my career, that would have been, like, day ruining, devastating. "Oh my gosh, it's over. Everything's over. We're closing everything." And now I'm like, "Okay, well, it's probably a little bit of smoke. We're gonna figure out what it is, and we're gonna fix it." Turns out it was the water heater. We're getting it taken care of, and it wasn't that big of a deal, but, just having the ability to face challenges and to not panic, it took me a lot of years to get there, and somebody knew, I think every little panic, I think it's just realizing that eventually it's not gonna be so scary, and you're not gonna be so anxious all the time, and you're not I was joking with Chase because I have anxiety. Most of my listeners know that, and so I take Lexapro, and he's like, "You seem so calm," and I was like, "I don't know, the Lexapro is Lexaproing. I don't know, I'm fine." But, it's just you just kinda figure out how to deal with things and make it okay, I think, so. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and also, Landon's wife, Heather, does interior design. Remind me the name of her company?
Element 321.
Yeah, she does beautiful work and has really, I mean, become an entrepreneur and started her own business, which is so, so cool, so, he's really surrounded by entrepreneurs, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny. You were I think when we first met about a year ago, and we're having a conversation. I remember telling you it was so true. I was like, I don't even know because I just started this company, and I was like, I don't even know what's coming. Like, where the big roadblock is going to be, the big challenge is going to suck up a ton of time.
Yeah,
I don't know where I know it's coming. I just don't know
right.
what it is. And then sure enough, like, boom, it hit. It's like, oh, I did not think it was going to be this, but it
Mhm.
is this. I'm like, okay, let's get through it. You just
Yeah.
what you expect.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, that's part of it. My job essentially now is I mean, I have other things that I do, but my job is literally to wait for a problem or a challenge and solve it. And it's just kind of like I'm on call for anything that pops up that might need me, and that's my job. So, you get better at it.
Yeah.
So, well, Landon, it was great to have you on. Good to see you. Thank you for all your advice on automation and just entrepreneurship, and then especially on giving back to the community and how people can do that. I really want to encourage my stylists to give back any way that they can, and most of them already are, but just how rewarding that is in business. So, um, yeah, I am going to include your information just in case, or if that's okay with you, in case somebody
Oh,
wants to reach out. If you are looking for an Airbnb, I think it's like Aaron's big weekend coming up with Two Step In, right? Like, in
yeah.
Georgetown, big event, you guys are gonna be full, right?
We have been full for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, big, I mean, that's a big one, so and then Poppy Festival after that, so you're coming in on your busy season.
Yeah. Eclipse last week.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's right, Eclipse, yeah, that's right, that was huge too, so
it's great.
awesome, so we wish you luck, but I'll include all of them. I'll include his foundation information in case you're interested in getting involved in that. I'm sure you always need all hands on deck um for that as well, or if you just wanna donate, so all right, well, it was great to talk to you, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, Bex. Thank you.
Bye,
Have a good
Landon.
appreciate it.